Hello, everybody, and welcome to Infinity Nikki News, where I talk about what is currently happening inside Infinity Nikki. I make these videos about once per month because I allow the topics that I want to cover to accumulate, and that way I can kind of wipe them out at the same time. And when I say once per month, this is more often like once per patch, and sometimes our patches are kind of small, and other times our patches are kind of long. This time we're having a very, very small patch. So the first big thing that's happening is housing. Community has already known that housing was gonna come at some point, especially considering that it has been like data mined a very long time ago. And people kind of expected it to be in update 1.8, but it's actually gonna be in update 1.9. And perhaps that is a good thing, because one thing that I think Infinity Nikki really needs right now is QA, especially QA from international people. I would say that if I was a fortune teller, I could right now try and predict how the whole housing update will go, but I am a fortune teller, so let me just pull a card. Well, oh boy. King of Wands reversed. Well, that's not a good sign. Well, that stands for negativity, thoughtlessness, narrow-mindedness, and stifled creativity. So, we're just we're gonna see how that's gonna turn out, but suffice it to say, from the currently out features, I don't have a very optimistic attitude that they can get housing to be entirely correct. Hence why I am glad that it's not coming in 1.8, because it probably needs a little bit more time in the oven. And speaking of QA, thankfully, it seems that they're finally gonna be doing some beta testing, though only for Chinese players. So, at the very least, somebody outside of the office is gonna be testing these updates before they are launched. But a lot of problems that are encountered in this game, they are not only to do with things like dice, which is currently quite a big problem, for example. This is one of the systems that's currently not working. This post is a Chinese player found that custom color palette isn't as flexible as we thought, so if you unlock every die on a 5-star outfit with all the evolutions, you get this custom palette selection thing, but whenever they would click save after setting the color, the palette will simply snap to the closest color code that exists as a programmed thing. This is kind of why I'm saying that I'm not super optimistic for housing. I'll need to see it with my own eyes to see how it works, because currently even the dyeing isn't super correct, and this is something that Chinese QA can catch. Unlike, for example, Brazilian and Portuguese translation in Infinity Nikki currently, that is entirely using AI, so effectively, if you're not playing the game in English or in Chinese, you're gonna be starting to see AI translations, and these AI translations will be highly inaccurate. People are experiencing text that's entirely untranslated, that's in Chinese. People are seeing names that make like no sense, like Dada being translated to Papa, which is like father, Infinity Nikki being referred to as a he, Nikki being referred to as Nuan Nuan, which is her Chinese name, some text being entirely like inaccurate translation wise. This is like being seen across the board, and I'm gonna assume that this is like a cost cutting feature that Infinity Nikki developers are trying to implement, because Infinity Nikki, after the 1.5 fiasco at 1.6, so previous month, has reported a huge revenue loss. So now they're only pulling about $3 million on mobile a month, which is probably not enough for a project that is of this size. We also have seen them offer VIP benefits to the Chinese players currently. If you spend over $2,000 in Infinity Nikki, you will be sent this sort of message if you're a Chinese player that is like, hey, here's some free rewards, which are honestly really incredibly stingy, provided that you have already spent over $2,000 on this game, considering that all you get is like 10 pulls and an extra 500 diamonds, which is like absolutely nothing. So they're trying to do more financial incentives. People have noticed that things have gotten more expensive. So originally, this was like a mushroom magic picnic charm, which is a thing that you can sit down on top and use it as a photo prop. When it came out with that patch, it cost 30 stellarites, and then in this patch we saw At Peace in the Mossy Forest, which is a placeable tree that you can use as a photo prop. That costs 300 stellarites instead. So obviously this pricing, at least they believe that it isn't working. Now, another thing is that another user has submitted this to me before, which also makes it appear that the developer team for Infinity Nikki might also be a tiny bit lazy or saving costs in other ways. So their comment quite specifically said, I have a little complaint about the new makeup pack, and I'm scared to make a post here. Their mods might delete. So I'll be very grateful if you investigated and made a video on it. So I bought the 1.7 makeup pack, but the eyes are literally copy-paste from their other Shining Nikki game. It's the eyes from currently running Whale Anniversary, which I have without paying real-life money. As I'm paying real-life money, I would like something original, not a copy-paste from their other games. So this is in one game, and this is the same eyes in another game. So this is Infinity Nikki, and this is Shining Nikki. If you zoom in on the Shining Nikki's eyes, like, the pattern inside the eyeballs is literally the same. It looks a bit more high res on Infinity Nikki side, but it does actually look like they copy-pasted eyes over. So perhaps one of the cost-saving measures that they're also implementing is to just copy-paste from the other games what they have already asset-wise, and therefore not need to spend extra money on development. In my opinion, cost-saving measures are not a good idea. The asset thing, not that big of a deal for me. The tree thing, not that super big of a deal for me. The fact that they're using AI to translate the game is a big deal for me because it is quality net loss for everybody involved. And remember that there's about 1,000 developers placed on Infinity Nikki. It is a big, big, big project. You are telling me that you had nothing else to cut from there outside of your translation team? That, like, the first thing on the chopping block was your translation team because you believe that you can just translate using AI. And that's, like, not like middle management, not like people making assets that you no longer need, not... It's a translation team. That's where you cut the corner. Yeah, and then they also still have the whole legal issues where whenever they release a new item, including a new item for real-life money, despite it being illegal, they mark it as if it is on sale, despite the fact that it has never been and never will be at its original price, in order to incentivize people to purchase what they're selling. Some things are a bit more of a gray zone, but when you're releasing an item that's only available for real-life money and it includes no other way of purchasing things inside the packet that they're selling in there, highly illegal. So this leads me to believe that on top of the AI translation, they just do not know the countries that they're selling their game in, that they're selling to. They do not care about laws, and they really do need an international team that is able to catch these issues and to advise them, which they seem to not have. Another issue that has happened that shows a bit of a laziness thing is this is an item that you can buy. It is a Lantern of Letting Go, let your sorrows drift away. The thing that it says is not the thing that it does. The description that was copied from it made it sound like it is like lotus flowers, which came out in patch 1.2. Lotus flowers allows you to place down a lotus that will have an image of your character with like a phrase that you want to send out to other players. And considering that in the description it says, oh, you know, entrust your hidden thoughts and troubles to the flowing waves, and it has like a very poetic speech about what this is. People thought, oh, this is like lotus flowers, but no, this item, for example, that was also on sale for premium currency, it is just a decor item. So you place it down and you can't do anything about it. You can't share a message, you can't share your character's image. It just sits on the water surface. And the description that is given in English is very much incorrect and gives false expectations towards the product, which once again makes me believe that they really need an international QA team. There's also this little tidbit that's both funny and sad because, well, it comes off as racist. Let's just say it like that. I know that they didn't do this intentionally, but the special ability for the newest 5-star changes the skin color of the character using it. And normally I think it's supposed to go from pale, which is like the base Nikki's color, to stark white. But when your Nikki is darker skin toned, it does literally look like you're trying to whitewash your own Nikki. Because she just turns white. Your special ability turns the Nikki white. Surely, if there was somebody from the international audience testing these features before they come out, they could tell Infold how this is gonna come off towards the population that you're selling to. They don't have that, and that's definitely not a good thing. So very good news, great news that they're finally doing some beta testing, so perhaps when they release housing, it's not gonna be broken like 1.5 was, but it's only beta testing with Chinese players, which obviously won't be able to catch AI translation errors, things that will come off as insensitive towards other cultures. They're just not gonna know. There is something, though, that kind of irks me, that makes it kind of seem like it might be a bit more intentional than it appears. And it is this guy's end of the comment that they posted to me. And my friend found a little thing yesterday. Apparently Muslim and Islam is banned word, but you can write every other religion's name, including Christian and Satan plus Satanism. Only these two words are inappropriate. So if they're applying filters for very specific religions from the Middle East, then maybe they are aware about what they're doing with the Nikki's skin tone as well. Which would just... I don't want to believe that, because that would be a bit evil and a very bad look. But this company has gone to cartoonishly evil levels before. That completely did not hide who they are. I still have a video about their other game, Love in Deep Space, which I'm gonna release later, that really does show off what kind of company this is. So the whole intentionality thing of this for me currently is 50-50. We like being nice people, so we like not to assume that bad intentions were there, but you never know, and that really bothers me. What bothers me as well is that, you know, when the whole revenue thing happened, when the whole revenue was announced and it was very, very low, one thing that they actually decided to invest money in is to flood the Play Store and I think it was Apple Store, anywhere where you can get Infinity Nikki on the phone with fake reviews again. They tried fake reviews on Steam and those got reported and those got removed. And they're trying another wave of like fake reviews on phone. Unfortunately, the moderators, even of the regular Infinity Nikki subreddit, have decided to remove the post without discussing why. They just said that it breaches privacy because the usernames of bots, like literally new bot accounts that are posting fake reviews on Google Play Store, were not covered up, and therefore people could go and find these reviews and report them, which was the whole point of this post. Anyway, they removed this. So you only have like these little kind of screenshots that people shared in the comments to showcase what it looked like. So you would have a no picture general name like Toxic Gaming PH, just leave a review of 5 stars, very nice game. The thing is, if you scroll down, you can see that a lot of these reviews, they were not even catered to a specific product, because a lot of these reviews were good app, great to use, and even one that just said so beautiful skin, and also easy money making, that just makes it look like it's blatant bot reviews, because they are blatant bot reviews. You know, fun stuff, fun stuff. So, here's my suggestion, Infold/Paper Games. How about, instead of constantly trying to purchase reviews of bots, you take that money, give it to your translation team, and have a proper translation. I know, so hard. But like, this is definitely one of those costs that you could have cut, especially considering that you have a very dedicated community when it comes to reporting this sort of thing. It's definitely not a necessary expense. And the fact that instead you cut your translation team, you can see why I'm not like super optimistic about the housing update. I'm entirely prepared to like review it. I play with housing in quite a lot of games. I would say I built a nice haven for myself in Guild Wars 2. I am playing Palia. I am looking forward to Tales of the Shire, I believe it's called, which is a Hobbit casual cozy game that's releasing at the end of this month. I'll see how that goes. I don't know whether I can recommend it yet because it's not out, but I'm like no stranger to housing and decorating. I loved The Sims 2. I liked The Sims 3. The Sims 4 was utter garbage. I am letting Inzoy cook currently. I tend to play a lot of genres that also include decorating your house on top of everything else, where building and putting things down is like very much a part of what you do in those games. So I am fully prepared to review this feature. I feel very at home with these kind of features, and if it is a good feature, then I will probably really love it. But just the kind of things that were happening even during a good patch, because 1.7 in general is considered to be one of the better patches because people like the story, people like the banners. It was a little bit of fun, so it is one of the better patches after 1.5. Like 1.6 wasn't that great. 1.5 was utter disaster. Even in one of the better patches, we have a lot of like quality assurance and polish issues that just come out. So the last time they tried to put in the big feature was 1.5, when they tried to do co-op and dying at the same time. So due to the track record, I don't want to get too optimistic. I don't. Like, I'm just gonna take this game at face value and I'm gonna have fun with it, but like, I don't want to get super hyped about a feature that might come out to be entirely different than what I would like it to be. So, that is my opinion on the whole housing update, and I hope that this has been informative to keep you up to date with what's in general happening with the Infinity Nikki community. The only other thing that I haven't included from this month is that Chinese players have recently gotten a code for Weibo reaching 1 million subscribers for Infinity Nikki that included the 10 permanent banner pulls. And currently, no other region has gotten that code because these codes are region locked. Goodie codes that include diamonds or pulls of any kind have been entirely absent for both patches 1.6 and 1.7, at least when it comes to the global community. So, global community would like that code, but people are keeping the whole thing like it's not a big overblown thing, mainly because A, sometimes these codes do come to the global community about a couple of days after the original Chinese code, so perhaps we caught it a bit too early and we just need to wait. Or B, it is a very exceptional circumstance where, because it is tied to a Chinese social media app, it sort of makes sense to give the code to people that would have participated in, expanding that social media app in particular, and not with absolutely everybody. But I'm just gonna say I would like a new goody code, please. That would be very appreciated. Getting no diamonds for 2 patches in a row just feels really stingy. But considering that their profits are down and the prices and everything are going up, it might be that stingy is just gonna be the new normal. I didn't really want to make this like into a main kind of thing to talk about, because we don't know what's gonna happen with that yet. Like, that situation is still ongoing. So I thought I'm just gonna mention it and I'm gonna leave it at that instead of like going in depth and talking about it in depth. So I hope that this video has been informative. Please tell me about your own opinions and what's happening in the Nikkiverse. Are you excited for the housing update? Are you excited for 1.8? Because leaks show a double banner that's gonna be Ling Yang themed, so it's gonna be like a more Asian sort of thing. So a lot of people are very much looking forward to that. And how's your regular gaming doing as far as Infinity Nikki is concerned? I don't even know what to ask here. So just gonna hope that you enjoyed the video and that I'm gonna see you the next time. And also thank you so much for my Patreon supporters. Hands are hard. The directions feel kind of inverted sometimes. Recently, my whole computer has died, so you all kind of contributed to me still being able to, well, be here and make videos. So thank you so much. And hopefully I will get to see you all the next time. Toodaloo!